Welcome, everyone, to Women on the Edge of Evolution. This is Claire Zammit, and I'm so thrilled to be here with you today and to introduce you to an evolutionary educator, Connie Barlow, who will take us for a walk back in time through our evolutionary past in search of new ways of seeing and thus approaching some of the greatest challenges that face us today.
You know, all of us here on the call, we can easily think, where is it that our instincts are not serving us now? If we ourselves or have a friend or know anyone who's struggling with overeating, we know that there's a problem there. I mean, that one is the most obvious one, and the way I like to explain it is that my maternal grandmother and my maternal grandfather, they spent their childhoods in rural Hungary and came over to the United States in the early part of the last century. I realized that on that side of the family, given how poor they were, that they experienced famines regularly. What it meant was whenever there is food available, eat it and eat however much you're allowed, because it wasn't available and you wanted to put on some weight. During the harvest season in the fall, your body wanted to put on weight because there would be times in the winter when adults in particular, women in particular, would not eat in order to be able to have enough food so that the children could eat. Having that understanding gives me a new appreciation for how I look at food. That instead of, fighting food or thinking what's wrong with me here, or
pathologizing ourselves.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like I don't make myself wrong if I put on a few pounds. I first appreciate and I think I would not be here had my grandmother, much less the great-grandmothers before her, had the very same drive that I have to eat food when it's available. And so once I make that step into appreciation, I can relax and then be a little bit more productive about how I go about it. And that means also facing up to when I need some help with that. For us women in romance novels, it's not about physical body types that it can skew our expectations, but it's about psychology. Why isn't there a man out there who will love me exactly as I am, who won't want to immediately jump into bed with me, who will want to, shower me with flowers and love and go off and slay dragons for me, and then we literally will live happily ever after, and he will never even be tempted to have an extramarital affair. That's what we're picking up in our romance novels. My main thing is let's learn more. Let's discuss our evolutionary heritage. Let's see how it butts up against our cultural problems. I'll give one just for example.
Yeah.
And that's that very, very deep in our brains, particularly when we have children. There's nothing more important to us than keeping our children safe, housed, fed, sustained. And we as women will do anything to protect our children. This is what the mothering instinct is. This is a very good instinct. What happens is, in the past, I know, we had my grandmother living with us. Many in my generation had grandparents in the same home with us. My mom had her two sisters within a half-hour driving. Her high school friends, female friends, where she'd play cards with. She had a very huge support system that feels like family. In today's culture, women and men are moving away from their homes and moving all the time for career reasons. And so what this means is that women are on their own. There's no sister. There's no mom to help with the kids. We know what that means in terms of women juggling career and daycare and all that kind of stuff. But when something goes wrong in the marriage, the woman is facing a situation where she gets a divorce or she decides to leave. What will happen to the children? How will the children feel about their father? How will she be able to support them at the level that they've gotten used to being supported? And so for women, there's a terrible, terrible strain that happens, in particularly if they have children. And the problem is we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it, and I think that's what we need. We need the older generation of women like me in middle age who ourselves, I've experienced infidelity in marriage, very, very difficult, came through it. Evolutionary understanding really helps, and my marriage is strengthened as a result of it.